Hello everybody, I'm going to be showing off a super simple beginner sewing project for your fashion dolls. We're going to make a simple tube style outfit that could be a top, skirt, dress, whatever you'd like it to be, and it can fit multiple styles of dolls with very minimal sewing skills. We're going to want to pick fabric that is a stretchy knit fabric that doesn't fray around the edges. An old pair of leggings or a t-shirt would work great if you want to recycle some things that otherwise would have gone into the trash can. I'm using a pair of leggings, which are a blue jean style of material that don't quite fit me anymore, and I'm going to make a top and a skirt for my Rainbow High doll. We're going to cut out a very simple rectangle of fabric. That's all we need to make this. To decide how wide your rectangle needs to be, I'm going to measure around the smallest part of my doll at her waist, and I'm going to add about a half inch to that for some seam allowance. Because this particular doll has much wider hips than top, I'm actually going to give her a separate skirt and top, and I'm going to cut the skirt just a wee bit wider so it won't be quite so tight around the hips while possibly wanting to fall down on the top. You may need to experiment a little bit for your doll depending upon how curvy she is and how stretchy your fabric is, but it only takes a very tiny amount of fabric, so don't worry too much about that. The height of this rectangle depends upon what I want to make. I could make a tiny little strip for a bikini top, or I could make it go all the way from her armpits to her ankles for a full-length dress. I don't need to add any extra for seam allowance because I'm going to leave the edges raw since we used non-fraying fabric. I know some people do not like a raw edge that's not hemmed, but I'm keeping this super simple as a beginner project. If you already have some sewing skills and you really want to add a hem, go ahead and add another half inch to this measurement as well, but you'll have to sew that top and bottom edge with a stretch stitch since we're using stretchy fabric. If my fabric only stretches one way, I want to make sure that stretch is going across the width of the doll's body and not up and down so it can stretch to accommodate all of her different curves. I'm going to actually use the finished edge of these leggings so that I will have at least one finished edge on this outfit when I'm done. Sewing this dress together is super simple. All you need to do is one seam. We're going to take this rectangle and fold it in half, wrong sides together, and we're going to make one seam up the side of the dress, which is actually going to be the back of the dress once we put it on our doll. That's it. It's ready to go. My top has that finished edge around the top. And if I really don't like the look of that raw edge, I can always fold it under just a little bit so it's not quite so obviously a raw edge. The skirt I am making with a finished edge from my leggings on the bottom. When I slide that on with my shirt and I hide those edges, it looks like it is one outfit and with a finished edge on the top and bottom. So I can cheat a little bit here, but I can also mix and match if I want to pair these with a different top or bottom. The nice part about this is because it is stretchy fabric that has a lot of give, I can put it on different dolls. I can put it here on my tall Barbie. The fit isn't always perfect. This is a really simple garment. I'm going to use some fabric that I've had sitting around for ages. It is holographic metallic scale print knit fabric. I'm going to use this crazy fabric to make a full-length dress for my curvy Barbie. This is a really thin fabric, which is even better. It makes it a lot easier to fold under that raw edge. I'm also going to try it on to one of my vintage Barbie dolls, and it is not the world's most flattering fit, but I can put it on her. Now I'm going to try it on to this Monster High doll, who is a lot wider than most of the other Monster High dolls. But this stretchy fabric fits on so many different dolls. And I can't pull it all the way up like a dress because this doll has a tail that's in the way. But I can turn it into a skirt just by folding under that edge to make it a little shorter, and it fits her perfectly. There are so many different things you can do with this basic tube dress if you want to make a bunch of different styles and go wild with it. Here's an example of a dress I made using the same idea. And I went to town by adding these huge gaudy poofs of tulle to create some sleeves and this gigantic train. Yes, I know this dress is awful, but I love over the top dresses. If you would like to see some more outfits based off of very, very simple designs like this, give this video a like. Let me know you'd like to see more like this. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.